I'm Tomer Zvulun, and I'm the production director of Romeo and Juliet. So this is a grand opera, French grand opera with a capital G. We have an amazing cast that is, I think, very unique. Adriana Gonzalez is making her debut here in Houston as Juliet, and an incredible tenor. I've never heard anything like that. Michael Spires is singing Romeo, Tommy Glass, Mercutio, and Sun Lee, Pierce, and Nicholas Newton. So it's an incredible cast. So we will start, and you should feel free to start. Okay, like I empower you to start. I come to rehearsals with a plan, and then I like to divert from it. I think of myself and my colleagues as jazz musicians. So we come up with a musical phrase, with an idea of what we want to do. And then during rehearsals, we discover how that phrase is going to be played and whether we need to change it a little bit and move in a different direction. Every group of singers, every cast is different. I think everybody's different and their bodies are different and how they perceive the story is different. And coming with a straitjacket of, here is my version of Romeo and Juliet, does not allow the process to have sparkles in it. You know, what's unique about this opera is that it is truly a grand opera. And in the past couple years, we've all been doing smaller operas because of the pandemic. A lot of them were televised, videotaped. And this is the first opportunity that I have to return to what is truly grand opera with 60 choristers, dozens of singers on stage, supers, dancers, etc., major sets. So it's really exciting. It's just an exquisite evening in the theater. It's the greatest love story ever told, with music that is melodic and absolutely beautiful. French music is really gorgeous. And there's so much going on stage, from the dancers to the major choruses to the beautiful orchestra. Those sets, the costumes are spectacular. It's just an evening that you don't want to miss.
My name is Adriana Gonzalez, and I am the soprano singing Juliet in Gounod's Romeo and Juliet. I would say she's a youthful character, but very determined, also a bit of a rebel, because, of course, she goes against the laws and the just general dynamic of her family with the Montagues and the Capulets. So she definitely is a little rebel. A very passionate soul, and indeed just full of love. The whole costume department is absolutely fabulous. The first day I met them, I arrive and of course you see this row of costumes that are just full of beautiful fabrics and different shapes and sizes and the colors, and I was so excited to see that, but at the same time quite overwhelmed by how many costumes they had to do. And so I asked Norma, how many costumes do you have to do? And they were like, more than 80 costumes. So I was completely mind blown. I mean, I can't even make one dress. So it was really very, I don't know, it was just beautiful and very humbling to see how much work goes behind the scenes of an opera. Like, we see the singers on stage and the conductor and the orchestra, but all the people that are behind, the technicians, the costume designers, the costume makers, the makeup department, that they do these amazing things that sometimes we're not even recognizable on stage when you come out of the theater. But all of this work, I mean, it's really a fascinating team.
The wonderful thing about the aesthetic of the production that Tomer and our director has decided to depict about this program is that he wanted to bring the old along with the new, and that's a recurring theme. in Shakespeare, this talking about old love and new love. And the interesting thing that he has done is it is set in modern times, and the Montagues are a group of actors that were hired at the Capulets' home for her coming out ball, basically. I find it such a fantastic idea because it allows us to be very natural and normal nowadays with our actions rather than this stylized kind of, you know, especially with the fight scenes where people usually, you would have, you know, Errol Flynn saying, "Hello, up here, I'm going to stab you in the heart, sir." We have guns, we have knives, we have fist fights, which is something that typically you don't think of when you're thinking of old school productions and things. And that's why I find it so fascinating, because you'll see this familiarity of our walk, and we talk a lot about body movement, and the aesthetic is so interesting to me because we get to be ourselves, but then there are moments where we become the actors on stage and we have very stylized movements, and then it's everything in one. And that's why I really like this production, because the costumes are so gorgeous, truly amazing, and beautifully crafted pieces. I mean, the HGO group here that has made all of the costumes. It's absolutely stunning. So visually, it's incredible because you have that as a contrast to the Globe Theatre, which is all bare wood, and so the singers and the actions and the movements and everything stands out as if it were we're all beautiful little puppets on the stage. So you get this wonderful contrast of simplicity and complexity, and all of these worlds collide within this aesthetic of a production, and I find it absolutely wonderful.
I love Houston Grand Opera because of the people. Some of my favorite groups of people that I enjoy coming back to is the Houston Grand Opera Course that are directed by Maestro Richard Beto. It's a group of incredible individuals. They're excellent artists and singers, and they're very eager to be a part of this process. I worked with them first on another major grand opera, The Flying Dutchman, back in 2018, and then I saw them again for Rigoletto, and now back with this major big opera. I also feel like with Houston, I've been here so many times before, and if you look at the past decade, there has been two major things that happened to Houston Grand Opera. One is Hurricane Harvey, and the other is the coronavirus pandemic. And I feel like I've been lucky enough to be coming to Houston right before the hurricane, and then the first show that reopened the Wortham Center was Flying Dutchman. And then right before the coronavirus, I did Rigoletto, and right what I hope is after the coronavirus is Romeo and Juliet. So it's been really interesting to see the resilience of this company and how great they've taken those challenges.